So popular to joy propels Weet Bix push into China. Generations of Australians and New Zealanders have grown up on Weet Bix. Now those in China may do so, too, but at a more affordable price than the $50 a box that many were paying earlier this year. That was nearly a $1 a biscuit. The cereal was once renamed Weet Bix in honor of the Australian cricketer and fast bowler Brett Lee, who ate 7 biscuits every morning. They look like Weet Bix. They taste like Weet Bix, but from now on they will be sold in China under the name Nutri-Brex. Photo, supplied. Now the nearly 100-year-old Aussie cereal is being renamed Nutri-Brex in China, the same name Sanitarium uses in Britain, and nothing to do with Brett Lee, to coincide with a big marketing push. The rebranding will differentiate the Australian product by Sanitarium from Weet Bix, a competing product made in China by Bright Foods. Sanitarium has announced it will increase exports of Weet Bix to China. The cereal will be called Nutri-Brex there. Photo, supplied. As well as increasing exports to China, Sanitarium has appointed Taiwanese Chinese television star Alyssa Kia as its brand ambassador. Sanitarium says the move responds to a growing trend among Chinese consumers for Western-style breakfast cereals. Advertisement. When a Weet Bix product featured on the popular Chinese TV soap Ode to Joy, in May this year, sales soared. About 1 billion people watched that episode, Chinese marketers claim. Some Chinese consumers paid as much as $50 a box from Australian-based Diag, companies that have been buying green and clean local produce including baby formula and vitamins, and exporting them to Asia. A spokeswoman for Weet Bix said the prices for Nutri-Brex in China were expected to be comparable with those that Australian families pay. Sanitarium said breakfast cereal sales in China increased by approximately 50% in the past financial year, and it forecasts similar growth in 2016-17. The only difference between the products sold in China and Australia is the name, Sanitarium's general manager Todd Saunders said. Nutri-Brex is made in the same factories, using the same ingredients and the same traditional recipe that Sanitarium has used for almost 90 years. It's the same name that we use for Weet Bix in the UK, our second biggest export market, he said. Despite the recent success we've enjoyed, it is still relatively early days for Sanitarium in China, he said. Research showed about 15% of Chinese households regularly bought breakfast cereal, compared with 90% of Australian households. That's why the timing to change brand names, while Chinese consumer awareness of Weet Bix is at its highest, actually works, Mr. Saunders said. Nutri-Brex will be positioned in China as a healthy breakfast choice. Sanitarium has partnered with Taiwanese Chinese TV star Alyssa Kia to promote the brand to her loyal audience numbering in their millions across her social media platforms including WeChat. The 42-year-old celebrity mother, who recently announced her third pregnancy, has a strong affinity with health and wellness in China and was chosen for her ability to influence increasingly affluent Chinese mothers seeking natural and nutritious products for their families. Nutri-Brex will be sold in more than 1,500 stores nationwide in China and multiple e-commerce channels from mid-November. Currently, online sales, predominantly through Sanitarium's flagship store on Alibaba's Tmall platform, represent more than half of all sales of Sanitarium products in China. We famously changed Australian breakfast habits back then and now we're playing a part in China's breakfast revolution, Mr. Saunders said. While exports currently represent just 5% of Sanitarium's total sales, we are excited by the buoyant market and look forward to introducing more of the Chinese community to our healthy, wholesome plant-based products. News of the expansion into China and new name reignited a long-standing trans-Tasman tiff over just who invented Weet Bix. The New Zealand Herald reported on Wednesday that Sanitarium's NZ website says the company's first baker Edward Halsey began production in Melbourne, Australia, before relocating 2 years later to a bigger premise and then to Papua Nui in Christchurch, where he began making the first batch of cereals. The Australian site is more general. The company's first baker, Edward Halsey, began preparing the very first sanitarium products in 1898. He was driven to improving health in Australia.